A little birdie told me that not only did you coach for the men's team in the Beach World Cup, but you were actually the first ever woman to coach in a World Cup, whether it's beach or 11s on the men's side. And that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just wonder, while you're shattering that glass ceiling, were you thinking about it in the moment, or were you so focused on the job that you could only appreciate it after?
Honestly, I didn't even know. I mean, at the time, I think Fatima with FIFA was there and Stewart's in the stands, I think talking with her, and all of a sudden shows me her tweet. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea, but she thought it was such an amazing kind of accomplishment and moment that I think putting it all together. But I am so competitive that also in that moment, I'm like, look, I want the men to win and I want to focus on the women's team. So it was just like, okay, stay focused on the job at hand. But really cool to now see that there are more women involved. And I think the women's game and women's coaches are being way more respected than, years ago. So I think that comes with the amount of teams that are coming, online and teams that we see joining different events. But yeah, very, very cool experience for sure.
But we have a problem, which is so you have coached at a men's beach World Cup. You coach now as the head coach of the women's team, but you cannot coach at a World Cup because there isn't one. So how do we fix this, and what are we working on, and what does the international landscape look like? Of if there's no World Cup, what are you sort of working towards? What are you playing in?
Yeah, it's a great question. The women here that have been pioneers in the sport, and I tell them every time we have camp of just, I think of them a little bit like the 99ers. Of some of these women have been around for so long and have been the voices and the fuel for this sport and this team for so long that I think they've inspired, similar to maybe even just our women's pay kind of movement that happened. They've inspired other countries to start their national teams or fund their national teams. And we heard initially that it was more due to the numbers of teams, which now that's definitely increased. It is probably somewhere in and around where futsal had started. So it's definitely if they were going to make the decision around the same number, that's possible. Um, yeah, and I think we have buy-in from Beach Soccer Worldwide, which is kind of the organizing, kind of governing body right now of any of our beach soccer events. So I think it's just what we've heard is a matter of time before FIFA finds a way to fit it into the calendar, fit it into the schedule, and kind of all the initiatives that they have moving. But these women are ready, and I think that's the one thing is I want to make sure, and I hope that the women that have had a chance to kind of start this movement and put footprints into this game, especially in this country, have a chance to be on that first roster and represent this country at a World Cup stage because we've done it on multiple levels, different events, but never quite a World Cup. So hopefully that or the Olympics. I think World Cup is obviously, and this fling is a little bit different than the Olympics, but both would be a very honorable thing to have done for your country.
Someone has to come first. Why
That's
not,
right.
why not this group? Where's the
That's right.
petition? How do I sign it? But we're here to help and we're here to spread the word. And one thing that we heard from Stuart when he was talking to us, he was talking about talent transfer and the talent ID process. I was wondering if you could dig into that a little bit and help us understand what that means.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think one of the biggest challenges that we have with any of our extended national teams is the beach team. It's funny because I work with most of our other teams as well in my current role, and um, I come across all these grass players, and they then hear about extended national team. Then most of their response was like, "Oh yeah, I could play futsal. I want to play futsal," because they all think they'll take their grass game and immediately they're brilliant at small-sided, quick, all of that. They grew up playing it, and then they hear the beach, similar to Kling, and they're like, that sounds hard. It's hot. I don't like sand anywhere and anything else. So yeah, maybe not. But I think one of the biggest things is knowing the amount of benefit and joy that you can get from playing beach, which is unlike anything else. I think the community itself is the best thing I can attribute to a little bit is, which I'm not part of this community, but almost what I feel like the CrossFit community would feel like. They're just super tight knit. And I think once players get a chance to experience what it feels like, an actual game of jumping in the sand, knowing that you're not having to play 12 minutes straight, you do get a chance to get off, get some rest, and then scoring goals. It's like the most imperfect, perfect game ever because you could have the worst shot. It hits the sand in the best possible way, ends up going in, and you're the hero. So I think the coolest thing is knowing that anybody could be really good at this. It just takes players taking risks and taking chances. And down to a little bit of your question of like the player profile. Players don't have to have played beach soccer to want to play beach soccer at this point. And there's obviously right now we don't have a league yet. Hopefully that will come at some point. But we have current players in the NWSL. We've have players that have played in the NWSL. We have players that have played high level Division 1 soccer, and then we have players that haven't played high Division 1 level soccer, but yet are very good for the beach team. So I think the biggest message is you don't have to be the best of the best to be really good, and it gives everybody an opportunity to one, represent their country, but two, be really good, almost like a second chance at a sport they loved, at a really competitive level. We talk about being the best in the world, and I have no doubt with the talent that we have and talent we could discover, we could be there for sure. So yeah, we're looking for players. We have try to have talent ID events and sessions as much as possible. I have Super League players reaching out, former national team players reaching out. That's why I was excited to be on the call with you, Kling. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is our moment.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think knowing that if someone still has the itch and they thrive in challenge, this sport is for them. Because
Yeah.
the second they get out there and they're like, oh, I'm good at this, but I could be great at this, and I'm used to being really good at something, they end up coming back and they come back again and they go and train, and then all of a sudden they're player of the year for us. And that's
Right.
kind of how sometimes these stories happen. So yeah, I think the sky's the limit for this group.
You mentioned the people who have the women who have been around the team who have helped push things forward and been sort of the face of building this. Can we
Hmm.
get some names of like who are star players, who should people know, backgrounds and stories around all of this? And we said to Stuart as well on the cerebral palsy team, like the jerseys that me and Kling need to go out and buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a handful. I mean, honestly, it's difficult to narrow down, but um, lately we've had, and she's been Play of the Year, I believe, the last 2 years. Hannah Adler, who played overseas, she played a little bit for Louisville. Um, she was relentless in emailing me wanting to try beach out and had never tried beach out, and eventually the opportunity was open and available, and came in, and she's been killing it for 2.5 years. So. Hannah's been doing well. Allie Hall, who's recovering, almost back. She might be able to make this next roster. We have a camp at the end of August from an ACL injury, but she has been our captain the last 3, 4 years. And Sam Martinez is a popular name that also played in NWSL. She was very good in TST last year. She just gave birth to a new baby maybe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think the age group and kind of roster for this group is pretty vast, but some amazing, amazing women and players.
Truly. And honestly, this gets me so excited about it. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can do beach. And then I remember that I just went to the beach with my friends and I literally walked across the sand for about 10 feet and was exhausted. So I think I'm going to just be the person in the stands having my koozie and supporting and
Fair.
yelling from the rooftops that, hey, this sport is awesome and let's get a World Cup in the United States. But yeah, I don't think it's for me, Morgan.
No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna tell you, I know that a lot of people ask, can they wear like the sand socks? Or some players think they can just tape their feet.
Yeah.
I will tell you one of the professional rules, other than maybe if you're playing kind of recreational grassroots beach soccer, you can't wear sand socks,
Wow.
or actually you have to have a certain amount of like skin showing on your feet so that you're not just taping them up to not be in the sand. But we do water water the sand so that it's not like burning your feet off.
What
Does
does
this
foot
actually-
care look like?
That's
and
what
like
I was gonna-
skin care on this.
You just beat me to it, guys.
Yeah, honestly, I can't answer that completely because I haven't played. However, I do know that as an athletic trainer, what I have heard is they have to basically like learn the sport on how they properly tape toes. Because typically in grass, you're like, okay, I can tape an ankle,
Yeah.
I can tape certain things, but there's certain ways that you want to tape because you obviously want as much movement and mobility as possible. So I think it takes a little bit of experience with the athletic trainers, but honestly, I think the other biggest misconception is people think they get injured a lot more, and it's actually the opposite. What I have found is because the sand is a bit more forgiving. I mean, we do have some toe injuries and things like that, but it in the last 3-4 years, it hasn't been as much as you typically would think because of it being that type of like, I mean, the sand is pretty deep. So it's not it's not, I'm selling it for you right now.
Yeah.
But the sand isn't compact. So it does give with joints and ankles and things like that.
So
Well-
we're saying beach 1, 11-0 when it comes to foot care, because I've seen some of my teammates' feet, and we can't
Look.
actually talk about that on this podcast. That's how
I
bad
don't
it
look
was.
at the toenails if that's what you're asking.
We are excited to be part of the Sand Squad, whether we are just as fans and supporters, and that's our name. Me and Kling will be Team Jorts in the crowd, screaming the whole time and getting ready. Morgan, we're excited, hopefully to help push for a World Cup and eventually cheer for all of you. Where can people follow the team next? What's the next thing coming up so people that are excited about this can sort of tune in and follow along?
Yeah, our next event right now is Acapulco Cup, which will be in December. I think it's December 14th, somewhere in around there. And usually our games are streamed on ESPN. So at this point, I think once we do have an event, we should be kind of pushing that out on our social media channels, and then would be able to stream it from there.